continue talking about the Qabalah and the Ain Sof Aur flower and the portal to God. It's very complex and it's really difficult to try and describe. I'm trying to make it simple and relatable so that you understand the action of it, the way I am moved through these different experiences, which you have as symbols or charts or graphs, is very different than just, putting a rectangle with some circles on it and numbering the paths and or even, drawing it out of rocks in the sand. It is the Living Qabalah, what I call the Living Qabalah. It is, I am being moved to create the continuous flower of life by God, by the divine. And there are many different cultures, many different symbols that all pertain to the awakened Kundalini experience. And so I'm trying to bring all of those symbols in and the importance of them so you can see the interconnectedness. So the Ain Sof Aur flower, once you pop up the top of the pole, or you enter the crown Sephiroth of the Qabalah, you pop up the top, and all that movement is controlled by divine. And you are moved through what I call the washing machine clouds. These clouds kind of come out of nowhere and they swirl around, and as you are being elevated, moved by divine up to the higher realms, these clouds swirl around in the sky, and they look kind of like a washing machine gyrating, the old-fashioned washing machine that would kind of gyrate back and forth. Once you are moved up through the washing machine clouds, you cross the Red Sea, which is just like a red clouded area. It's a cosmic area, a spiritual cosmic area, but there's not really like water there. It's crossing what would be considered like the cosmic ocean, the Red Sea. Then you come to a place of cleansing. No matter how clean you may think you are after all of the chakra purifications and all of that, you have to be further cleansed to go to divine. And so there are two tunnels, kind of like an automatic car wash that you go through. You are moved into one. It's really hot, and you are cleansed and actually transfigured into light, into spirit. And then you move into the second one, and it is a further cleansing and physically altering experience where you become light, you become spirit. And then you are elevated up further, and there's a Y, and you can either be moved to go to the right, or you can be moved at the fork in the road, the Y, and go to the left. To the right is the heart of God, and the heart of God is represented by the Tao symbol of yin yang. So there is a type of Buddhism, there's also Chinese Taoism, that is symbolic of the yin and yang, and that is actually the heart of God. It's double valved, like our heart. Our heart has two valves, and anyway, that is representative of the yin yang. And you can do that, you can be moved through the heart of God, which I'm not going to get into right now. Or if you are moved to take the fork in the road, the Y to the left, then you go to the home of God. And going to the home of God is further represented by the pyramid. And so just like a regular pyramid, it is narrow at the top. That is symbolic of the Kabbalah, but it is also symbolic of the home of God. It is represented on earth by the Egyptian Great Pyramid of Khufu. And when you go to the home of God, excuse me, you are moved into the side entrance of the Great Pyramid. You are actually, you feel another shift, and you are elevated up into the side of the pyramid, that platform entrance. That on earth, where I come from, they had no idea what that was for. That's actually the entrance to the home of God. So then you take the stairs, the stairway to heaven. You are moved up to the stairs, up through the stairs, slowly. And then you come to the Queen's Chamber, which has two chambers. And when I was moved through that, I was actually there like overnight. So then the next morning, the process of the pyramid continued, and then I moved up the stairs into the King's Chamber. So in the King's Chamber, it is represented as you die, and then you are further transfigured, and you are basically like vaporized. You move up into the attic room, the little stairs up into the attic room, and there you are vaporized into pure spirit, and you go up to God. You are still physically aware of your body. You still have a body. You can't feel anything. I would touch myself like I can't feel anything. And they use, when you are in the King's Chamber and preparing to move up into the attic room of the Great Pyramid, they use hormones and histamine. They kind of saturated my system with hormones and histamine. So I would get, a really runny nose, like a super onset of allergies, like an allergy attack or something. I'd suddenly my sinuses would just kind of like drain. And I might spot breakthrough bleeding or something, and that was symbolic of showing that they are just saturating my system with hormones and histamine in order to further transfigure me into spirit. And then I would go up to God, and I would stand, or I would sit, wherever I am. Everything changes around me. I don't necessarily see any direct change in my immediate environment, but the sky would all change, and then the light would be there, and it has no temperature. It's not like sunlight. Sunlight is very hot and penetrating. The pure light of God, which I have pictures of, it's cool. It's just, it's not cold. It's not like a temperature. It's just pure light, and it is the most brilliant, bright, white light you can ever perceive. And even my camera could not quite capture the intensity of the brightness. But I tried, and they would let me photograph some. They wouldn't let me photograph everything that I saw. But I photographed some of the images, some of the symbols, some of the light. And of course a picture, is a still image, but the radiant light of the pure, divine, is brilliant beyond imagination. The rays of light are multi-fold. It's not just like, rays of light coming out. It's like layered. And so I would describe it as, you see a silver lining of a cloud. Well, this is like a silver and gold lining of almost like lightning rays, layered, coming off of the light. It's like when you see the sparkle of a diamond and you get kind of that flash. Well, if you could multiply that by like 100 billion, it's that kind of brilliance. It's truly incredible. And the light of God is pure consciousness. So I was standing or sitting in the presence of the pure light, and I was still a great distance away, but he talks to me in a male voice, so I say he. So he would talk telepathically to me and say certain things like, watch this, and then he would use clouds to show me a picture or an event that was to come. And that is how he communicated to me in the heavens. So when that was finished, when he was done communicating what he had to say, then I was moved back down rather rapidly through what I call the washing machine clouds, which are really clouds that are provided for my perception that I am moving through something. So, if you see clouds kind of swirling, I would understand that I was being moved. And then I would usually be put in a state of semi-consciousness where, I've described this I think before, where it looks like I kind of fall asleep instantly, but I can still hear everything around me. I just cannot respond to it at all. And then I would wake up. And that would be the experience of going to God. He would communicate whatever it was he wanted to communicate, and then I would be sent back. And it is really, really profound in that you can't believe that you're going to God. From my perspective as a human, although I'm a hybrid human now, you wouldn't even think you could go to God unless you died. And then you don't even really know what God is. God is pure consciousness that permeates everything. The light, the true light that is manifest all around you, and everything grows to the light, and That's because we all have this connect and this desire to return to the light and love of God. And so, those are some of the experiences of going to God. Now, I mean, I'm still moved to do the same kind of thing somewhat, but now, because of my connection, he manifests on earth to me. He comes to where I am instead of continuously taking me to him. When you are elevated in your frequency, when you are cleansed and elevated, to be able to be in the presence of divine, they control you so that you don't freak out. Even though divine puts out this loving, glad aura, it could actually freak you out to believe that you're standing in the presence of God, and so they control my emotions. I've been told that they control about 90% of my entire being. They control my emotions, my actions, my thoughts. And of course, the ego screams, free will, oh no, you can't control me. But it's good control, it's not evil control. And it's important because there are times when when they took me to the edge of the universe, the edge of the cosmos, there's no stars there. It is black, as black, as black, as black can be. There's no stars. There's no light. All you perceive is this blackness, and the cosmos is like a lung. It expands and contracts, and so you can see that. But you have this feeling of apprehension, like, oh gosh, what's beyond that? Well, it has like a membrane to it. The cosmos actually has like a membrane, like a big bubble membrane to it. And so it was kind of scary. And they controlled me because I was like, oh gosh, I think I'm going to freak out. And they're like, just relax, you're okay. And so I did relax, but I know they had to kind of come in and control my emotions because, have you ever been to the edge of the known cosmos? Where there's nothing, no light, no stars, no nothing, but you sense this expanding and contracting like a breathing motion. Awesome, but freaky. So yeah, I've had a few experiences that you can only do with Awakened to Kundalini. The Kabbalah is the flower of life, creation. It is also the path to God. It's represented on earth by our different religious symbols and practices. I'll get into a similar process. The path of the sun is also, like, if you could take the Kabbalah and the cosmos and kind of overlay them, it would be the exact same thing, just depicted differently. The Egyptians also have that represented as the Dendera zodiac. But I'm not going to get into that on this video. This one is specifically about the Living Qabalah and the fact that the Christian cross is incomplete and it really should be eliminated because it does not encompass the entire Kabbalah. Like I said, I can't really figure out the cross unless it's just like the bottom section of the Kabbalah. So I don't energize that. There is a kingdom at the bottom, and there is the crown at the top, and all of the other is pathworking of your soul. So I hope this helps explain some of your symbols in more detail, and that it is spiritual work that the divine moves you through. You cannot make it happen. Yin Yang is the heart of God. The Great Pyramid in Egypt is a representation of the home of God in the cosmos. The location of heaven, the original heaven where God lives, is about 100 billion light years away from Earth, from the Milky Way galaxy. 100 billion light years. Now light bends and can be altered slightly, but it's about the closest representation I can give you in distance as to how far away we are. Yet divine is here in every moment of everyone's life, of every single day. Joyfulness will make your life better no matter what. And celebrating God will elevate your spirit and allow better things to come into your life. Sad mopey popey isn't going to do it. A lot of anger. Sometimes they move me to be angry to stimulate a movement, but a lot of anger is defeating the purpose of creation, of your life, of the beauty of God. No harming yourself. Don't harm yourself or others. If you want goodness in your life, eat. It is important to eat. There may be times when you need to fast for purification, but do not starve yourself. As I think it was, I read Gopi Krishna. I think that's who it was. He starved himself a lot and ended up dying of cancer or something, even though he had awakened Kundalini. I am always told to eat. Eating is the power of the mind and the body, and it allows spirit to magnify. So eat good, pure foods. Like I said, I am pescatarian. I don't cook a lot. Every once in a while I want a hot meal, but pretty much I eat raw foods. I just have to find creative ways to consume them, because otherwise it gets a little boring after a while. Oh, a carrot. You know? Oh, another salad. Yeah, it can get a little old, but I don't experiment with cooking too much. I do pretty natural foods. I do have a little treats now and again. Not too much sugar. Sugar actually suppresses your immune system and causes you to be sick and weak, so don't do a lot of sugar. Kundalini thrives on carbohydrates, so if you eat a lot of bread and pastas and rice, that will activate Kundalini more. When I was awakening Kundalini, I was eating rice about every single day. So rice and milk and cinnamon I would have as breakfast. So those are just some things, some tips that may help you. I hope this gets into the right hands and it is shared with everyone so that you can evolve your consciousness, your entire being, and be a healthier, happier person, and one day return to God when He calls you home.